Wagner Moura speaks English, he interviews in English, so I had the question, can he pronounce all the sounds for the letter O? Hey guys, this is Jeff from Fluent American again. And one thing with O sounds, like all vowels in English, is that there's many different ways that they can be pronounced. All right, let's get right into it. One.
This one
Done.
thing I have ever done is
Considering.
especially considering
Months.
2 months.
This time, the O sound is making what's called a schwa, which we've talked about in more detail here. But the schwa sound is the most common sound in American English pronunciation, but it's also the most relaxed. It's the sound you make when nothing is tense in your face, you're just kind of in a neutral expression, your lips are relaxed, your mouth's relaxed. It's just like this. The key thing though for placement is that you want this to be low in the throat and relaxed. Can you hear a difference between how I pronounced the schwa sound and how Wagner pronounced it? Months. You'll know it's too tense if, for instance, you're hearing like an ah type sound, ah. For instance, if instead of saying one, you say like one. Another way that you can check yourself to see if the placement is right is do this. Hold the vowel sound longer. So for instance, say one. As you're holding that vowel, try to note where you feel the vibration strongest. So for instance, when I say one, I really feel that down here. But if you say it like one, when I feel that vibration, I'm feeling it a lot higher. I'm feeling around here. So just hold the vowel sound longer and see where the vibration feels strongest. Try to get it low in the throat. Most.
The most
global. So our second O sound is the same as the letter
O.
O. This is a diphthong. You're going to start with your mouth wide. It's going to make kind of like an sound. Back of your tongue's a little bit high. Rest of your tongue's pretty low. And then you're going to close your mouth and your tongue's going to lift a little bit. It's like oh. Notice too that at the end you can have small round lips, though it's not entirely necessary to make them too round. In fact, that's where I see a lot of students struggle, is they make that O sound too tense at the end. So they'll end with like an oh. You're probably feeling that more in your jaw or maybe even the top back of your mouth, when again, you want to be feeling this more in your throat. So if you're noticing that you're pronounced like an O type sound, one thing you can do is maybe cut off the last part of the vowel, take off the last couple milliseconds, because most likely you're starting with a better position, just like an and then just kind of finishing that off a little bit softer. Oh. Speaking of placement, I'm definitely hearing like mo, po, like when Wagner sang it. So you can notice it here. And to me, if I'm trying to imitate that sound, I'm getting my placement like way up here and towards the back of my mouth. And again, that's just not quite the right spot for that more natural sound. So instead do like a mo, po, more mo, po. Hear how much more air is making it through my throat. And in fact, one way you can try to correct this or to adjust your placement if you're doing a similar thing is to start tense and then see if you can drag the sound down. So for instance, ooh, so again, ooh, and again, all I'm doing is I'm just sending that sound down my throat, so that way I can try to get it a little bit lower. Another sound that the letter O can make is like an oo sound. You can see this, for instance, in a word like to, or doing. Do you hear some differences there? So instead of like ooh, you again want more ooh. Your lips can be a little bit round, though they don't have to be so round like this. They don't have to be quite that tense. Other key things for the mouth position too are you want the back of your tongue to be high and the front of your tongue to be down. So again, it's not ooh, it's more ooh.
If you're learning something, by the way, let me know by liking and subscribing to the video.
The last O sound I want to talk about is the ah sound. For instance, like in a word like stop or in popularity. This is a sound that many of my students struggle with for several reasons. The first reason is that they may be more used to British English pronunciation, where instead of an ah sound, it's more like an o, it's like pop instead of pop. Other reasons too, again, are going to be about placement. So you may again be producing this sound more from the back of your mouth and a little bit too high, like a pa, as opposed to a pa. Hear a difference between those? The reality is just lots of students are not aware that the ah sound is pronounced differently in American English. The other difficulty with the ah sound is that most other languages have this. In fact, let me know in the comments what language you speak and if your language has an ah sound. The problem is that the placement's different. So again, in American English, it's low in the throat, whereas in other languages, again, it's coming from up here. So if you're saying a word like popularity or popularity, then again, it's not quite the sound you're going to hear in most of North America. The last thing I want to mention about the O sound is you may be mispronouncing it at the end of words. Find out why in this video.